experiences that Paul had, we will wonder, how did he make it? I mean, he experienced real trouble. But yet he is declaring in 2 Timothy that I have kept the faith and I have finished the course. I have been successful. In 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 8 and 9, there are some other things that he said, and I want to read from you the Living Bible's translation of this so that it's easier to understand. It says, we are pressed on every hand by trouble, but not crushed and broken. We are perplexed because we don't know why things happen as they do, but we don't give up and quit. We are hunted down, but God never abandons us. We are knocked down, but we get up again and keep going. Now all of that I'm saying to say this. With all the battering that Paul suffered, the battering and the bruising, he still ended up a winner. And we want to address ourselves to the subject, battered and bruised, but still a winner. You see, a number of times when we get into trouble, and when we suffer some of the battering that not even close to what Paul suffered, we get discouraged and we get broken and we give up. And we start to feel sorry for ourselves. And we look around and we say how everybody else is succeeding. And everybody else has this and everybody else has that, but poor me ain't have nothing. So you start to feel sorry for yourself and you start to prop your chin and get depressed and you say, I ain't studying this God thing, it ain't working, and this church thing ain't working, and this one ain't like me, and that one ain't like me, and the government, I know what they're doing, and the boss on the job, he's so worthless, and the teacher in school, there is something else, and the maxi taxi driver giving trouble, and the dog bite me, and the cat run away. All kinds of different things. And this is what will happen. There are times when the storms of life will face you, and it will hit you, and it will hit you hard, and you'll come out battered and bruised. But you have to understand that even though you get battered and bruised sometimes, you have to determine to be a winner. Look to the end of the book. Look to the end of the chapter and say, you see me? I gonna be a winner. I will keep the faith, and I will finish my course. Paul had any number of reasons to complain. Any number of reasons to give up. Said, too much pressure, boy. I didn't expect this amount of pressure when I started to serve the Lord. But he said, you see me? They stoned me and left me for dead. Battered and bruised, but I'm going to win. That's why the last portion of scripture we read from 2 Corinthians chapter 4, it says, we are knocked down, but we get up again and keep going. That's when you're success-oriented. That's when your mind is fixed on success. That's when you break through, when you're fixed on breakthrough. When your attitude and mind and body and spirit and will and everything saying, I will succeed. I will succeed. I will face my mountains and I will climb and I will sweat and I will get tired. And sometimes I get discouraged. Sometimes it will seem difficult, but I will succeed. I know what my target is. I know what my goal is. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to push. I'm going to press until I hit my goal, until I hit bullseye. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to succeed. Even though I get battered and bruised, I'm going to succeed in the end. I'm going to rise up and say, one of these days, before I leave, I can look at my children and say, I've kept the course. I've finished the phase. My children are successful. I can look at those I meet. If you are in ministry, you can look at those whose lives you have touched and say, yes, I've kept the faith. I've finished the course. I touched somebody's life. If you're a singer, you can say, yes, the melody that came from my heart, bless somebody. I've finished the faith. Somewhere along the line, you got to be determined that I'm not going to let the bruisings that I suffer take me down, but I'm going to rise up and be successful. This is what happened to the disciples, you know. When Jesus left and sent them in the upper room and so on, they came back with the Holy Ghost. Sick being healed like peas. Devils being cast out by multitudes. It seemed as if these men were the most powerful men on the earth. It seemed as if nothing could stand in their way. Victory after victory. They see a crippled man by the great beautiful. They say, get up and run, boy. They see a blind fellow. They say, eyes open. They hear somebody dead down the road. Peter go raise the child from the dead. And it was marvelous. But soon as they started with all of this power and excitement and success, here comes the high priest. And those who were jealous and those whose religious system were threatened and felt insecure, they hold them, took them in the public square and benched them. Licks like peas. Bruise all over their body. Battered, they threatened them with jail. They put them in the handcuffs. They chained them, their foot, they beat them. All kinds of different things, licks and stones and whips on their back. You know what the Bible tells me? When you read Acts chapter 5, you'll see that. They say as soon as they come out from the licks room, wherever it was, as soon as they left, they went outside, back still bruised, wail, as we say, wail on their back and foot and wherever else they get licked. Probably blood dripping from the bruising, but they come out battered and bruised and going out the road preaching. And they say, you know what? It's better to obey God than man. We are going to do what we are called to do. Even though we get licks, we are battered and we are bruised, but we are still going to win. That's when your mind is fixed on success. You see, if you're fixed on failure, if your heart weak and you're faint-hearted and you're not courageous, you could never make nothing in this life. Let me tell you something, that's a principle, you know. Whether it be in church, in your work, in your home, in your village council, in your political party, in your parent-teacher association, wherever you are, whether you're writing ABC or common entrance or university or wherever you are, if you don't have courage, if you don't fix your mind on a determination to succeed and to make a breakthrough wherever you are in whatever you do, and you're faint-hearted and you're weak, at every little trouble you get, you say, you see me, I think I can't make that. You done. You will never make it anywhere in this life. But when you have when you're success-oriented, your mind fixing success, your consciousness, everything you do and you think is success, the beating will come, the battering and the bruising will come. But you're going to say, you see me, I'm battered and bruised, but I'm going to succeed. That's the life. Huh? Yeah, a quitter never wins and a winner never quits. Paul was able to list a whole set of things that we just read in beatings, perils in countrymen, perils by his brethren, storm, shipwreck, all the various things. And then he was able to say, I've kept the course, I've finished the faith. You have to know how to be courageous. You have to know how to take that your destiny and your future is in your own hands. Especially we who are adults. The children's, so part of their destiny is in our hands as parents. But when you are an adult, your destiny is in your own hands. And nobody could make it happen for you. As much as the pastor would like, and as much as we would pray, and as long as we would intercede and fast and all these things, there is a limit to which what anybody could do, including God, for you. There comes a time when you have to take your destiny into your own hands and say, I will win. So even though you get battered and bruised, you must still be a winner. So we will find ourselves in some bruising battles sometime. And when the battle gets bruising, it's getting rough, we got to determine to succeed. There are lots of battles that we face, you know. Sometimes poverty is a battle. You look around you and you struggle. And every single day of your life, you have a critical management decision to make. Every day, there is not a day that passes by without you having the stress to manage your finances, to manage the few dollars that you have, to wonder how to spend this today. To wonder, what should I buy first? Should I buy the sugar and leave the rice? Should I buy the flour and leave the butter? Should I buy bread or should I buy flour? Should I buy the shoes or should I buy the dress? And there is a management, and the stress and the problems of poverty is a bruising battle. And you look around and sometimes you're on the brink of frustration. But what are you going to do? There are several choices. You could determine that I'm going to win in spite of my situation. Or you could try to take the easy way out, like somebody, get a gun, go rob somebody. You could try to see if you could get rich quick and go around the corner and get some supplies and go sell some white powder. That's a parable, eh? Or you could determine that, you see me, I'm going through this bruising battle here. Sometimes I get battered. Sometimes I get bruised, but I'm going to win. I'm going to rise up. And I never cease to reflect and to challenge people with my own experience. Like when I tell you, when we grew up in the worst form of poverty that there ever possibly could have been. And as a young man growing up, when my parents died, they died in the poverty. But I determined that I'm going to succeed. And I will succeed the right way, the honest way. I don't ever know myself to have ever been involved in any underhand, anything corrupt, any kind of shady dealings, any kind of dishonesty, apart from the little things when you're in school, you know, you steal a pen or you stick chewing gum in somebody's chair or something like that, you know, or you put a tag on somebody's back, say tap me and things like that. Little things along the way. But I determined that I will rise up and be a winner in spite of the bruising battles. And those battles were bruising, brother. You cannot give up. And I ain't give up yet. I ain't give up. And I'm pushing. And I'm moving on to be a winner. In spite of the battles. You think we do have battles? And you look around today and see so many people missing. Absent. How many people you think have good reasons for not being here? Very good reasons. Just take them and read 2 Corinthians chapter 11 from verse 24 to 28. And then assess Paul's experience with those reasons that we have. But you have to determine to be a winner. And rise. Because you will get battles, you'll get battered and bruised, but you have to be a winner. When the man in the story of the Good Samaritan, the man who was lying on the side of the road, battered and bruised, it didn't seem as if he will ever make it. When he raised up in his half-dying state and saw the priest coming by, he must have said, aha, praise the Lord, God has sent somebody to help me out of my distress. He must have said that this has to be God, nobody else but a priest. If one body will help me, go be the priest. And the priest looked by, say, if I pick up this man, I go dirty my white robe, and went along his way. Battered and bruised and left for dead. Then the Levite come, and the Levite and the priest, almost the same thing, because the Levite was the priestly tribe. Then he said, one fella let me know, but the other one go sure pick me up. And then the Levite passed by, thumbed his nose and went. And here is a man on the side of the road, battered and bruised. How is he going to win? How is he going to rise up from that state? Then he sees the Samaritan coming. And he said, well, no sense looking to the Samaritan. Because the Jews and the Samaritans don't deal. And in fact, I might as well try to hide in the grass because that fella's going to finish me off. And it's the Samaritan who picked him up, rescued him, and sent him on his way. The point is that sometimes when you're going through your battles, when you're battered and bruised, sometimes you don't know where the help will come from. You don't know where the answer will come from. It's from unexpected sources. Sometimes God will always find a way. He will always find a door. He will always have an opportunity waiting for you. And he will show you how to get, even though you're battered and bruised, to still rise up and win. We have to learn that. Know how to win in spite of your circumstances. It will come from all over the place. Like I say from time to time, sometimes recovering and sometimes climbing out of difficult situations will be the most challenging thing that you'll ever face. But you have to do it. I have found that people, Christians and Christian leaders especially, who have made mistakes and who get battered and bruised in one way or the other, the environment and the culture within the Pentecostal church makes it hard for them to rise. It makes it, everybody feels that they're more righteous than the other. Everybody feels that, you know, that people who make mistakes should be banished. And people who get battered and bruised within the church for some reason or the other, sometimes they find it hard to climb back up. But if it is you and you get battered and bruised in battle, the responsibility is yours to be determined to rise and be successful. Otherwise, nothing doing. It's up to you. When we struggle and we don't seem as if we can make it, we have to learn to keep our eyes on success. There are people who have really difficult battles. Sometimes, you know, when you hear what people experience, then you learn to give God thanks. You can't escape battles in this life. You will always have it. And therefore you have to think. Sometimes the struggle is in the family. Sometimes there are people who go through real deep, real serious battles. Battles like divorce. Battles like domestic violence. Battles getting battered day and night. Some people getting beaten and bruised physically in real flesh and blood, battered and bruised. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to give up and say, I am a failure, and live the rest of your life a failure? Or are you going to say, in spite of my battering, even though I'm battered and bruised, I feel weak and beaten, I'm going to rise and succeed? When you go through depending on certain circumstances, there are some people who get divorced and rejoice. But most times getting divorced and separated and so on is a traumatic thing. It's a difficult burden to carry. It's one of the biggest, most bruising battle that you will ever experience. When life hits you with these kinds of experience, what do people do? You can resign from life and say that I am a failure. I will never try again. I will never rise. This world is unfair to me and all this kind of thing. Or you can determine, you say, you see me? When I'm ready to leave this life, I'm going to quote the Apostle Paul, and I'm going to say, I've kept the faith, I've finished my course, and what I wanted to do, I did, and now I'm successful. All of you young people who wanted to achieve all kinds of things, and you play the fool, and you skylark, or you watch TV, and you lie with your friends, or you break beach, and you're giggling every day in class, and carrying on, and made a mess of your life. If you know what is good, you better pick up the pieces from now. Change your course, and say, in spite of my mistakes and my foolishness, I am going to rise and succeed. Otherwise, you're going to get into so much difficulty. Life doesn't owe anybody a success, you know. And it's not going to come by magic. And it's not going to come by kneeling down and praying only, like we were talking about on Wednesday night. Because faith without works is dead. You have to get up there and do things. You have to put some effort. And it's the effort that you put in God will bless. I said it over and over and over again. God said He will bless the work of your hand. Whatsoever you do shall prosper. You have to do something before God bless you with anything. If you don't do nothing, He will bless nothing. And nothing from nothing, and nothing multiplied by nothing, you ended up same place. So you don't have to know how to rise. I don't like, sometimes there are people who are going through phases and they don't know better and so on. But listen to people who look at all the negatives in your life. And you find all the reasons why you should not succeed, why you should be sulky and worried and depressed and crying, and you don't understand that no matter how much you sit down and brood and complain and tell of all your troubles day and night, that might be good, but beyond that you have to make a decision that in spite of all of that, I will succeed.